Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Liverpool encouraged to make 100 million bid for attacker who scored this week. Liverpool may have just completed one of the busiest and most expensive transfer windows in Premier League history, but the rumor mill shows no sign of slowing down. Following their record-breaking deals for Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak, reports now suggest the Reds have also looked into the possibility of signing Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. However, with the Spanish club valuing the Argentina international at over $100 million, a move appears highly unlikely. The Merseyside Giants spent upwards of 420 million this summer, bolstering Arne Slot's squad with marquee additions across the pitch. Liverpool spent heavily in the summer transfer window. Isak's 125mm arrival made headlines as the most expensive Premier League deal ever, while Hugo Ekitike also joined to add further firepower up front. Alvarez, who previously played for Manchester City before making the switch to Spain, has become a vital figure for Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid. With a contract running until 2030, the Argentine forward is seen as untouchable unless a truly extraordinary bid is made. The attacker scored a free kick for Atletico Madrid against Real Madrid in a 5-2 win on Saturday Football. Insider reports that Atletico would only consider negotiations if offers in excess of $100 million arrived, an amount Liverpool are unwilling to pay after their recent spending spree. Football Insider correspondent Pete O'Rourke said it would be a surprise if Liverpool were to pursue a move for Alvarez. He was on their list, but that was before they signed Isak. Obviously, then they've got Ekitike as well. That's two forwards already brought in to bolster the attack. It looks a real difficult deal to do now just due to the finances involved. I don't think Atletico Madrid want to lose Julian Alvarez either. He's a real key man for Diego Simeone's side. He's under contract at the Metropolitano until 2030 as well. It's a huge fee to even consider selling him. You're probably looking around the $100 million mark. Reds have enough firepower in their attack. Although Alvarez's name continues to circulate in connection with Liverpool, the reality is that a deal is improbable under current circumstances. Atletico Madrid's lofty valuation and Liverpool's recent transfer splurge make such a move financially unrealistic. For now, Alvarez remains a dream addition rather than a genuine target, as the Reds turn their attention to consolidating their expensive summer signings and ensuring Arne Slot's side can mount a serious challenge on all fronts. Marc Guehi's post-match moment with Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk speaks volumes. Liverpool has hinted that it won't be pursuing Marc Guehi in the January transfer window, but after a defensive nightmare against Crystal Palace, it's difficult to imagine anyone taking the Reds at their word. The England international didn't need a standout performance to confirm what was already clear. The Premier League champion missed an opportunity by not securing the 25-year-old centre-back this summer, Steve. Parish eventually granted Oliver Glasner's wish and cancelled Guehi's transfer to Liverpool at the last minute on deadline day. However, had the Reds offered the magic number, 40 million, 53.6 million, earlier in the window, Guehi would undoubtedly have been returning to Selhurst Park for the first time as an away player on Saturday. The great irony is that there's a compelling argument that Arne Slot's players, who were brought down to earth in southeast London following Eddie Nketiah's last-minute winner, actually needed Guehi's defensive prowess more than Alexander Isak's attacking thrust. While Hugo Ekitike was suspended this weekend, he has made a flying start on Merseyside, netting 5 goals, and it's been an almost flawless beginning for the in-form Frenchman. At the other end of the pitch, they've looked vulnerable. Giovanni Leone's unfortunate ACL injury has left Liverpool critically short at the back, and if the club hadn't realized it before, this seemed to be the day that drove home just how much Slot's players needed Guehi. The match had barely reached the 20-minute mark, and it wouldn't have been an overstatement to suggest that the Reds could have been trailing by 4 goals. This was a significant statement, especially considering the game had been temporarily halted due to a medical emergency in the crowd. Slot's Liverpool side appeared weary, while Crystal Palace seemed energized after a rare week of rest following. The team's 2-1 victory at West Ham last weekend, the biggest puzzle, was how the Eagles only managed to lead 1-0 at halftime, given they had dominated Liverpool throughout the first half. If not for Alisson's superb reflexes, it would have been a complete first-half rout. Konate was central to Liverpool's vulnerability. And for anyone who has followed the Premier League champion this season, this wasn't the first time. It's well known that Real Madrid is showing interest ahead of his contract expiration next summer, but his performance decline in recent weeks has been dramatic. He was outsmarted by the shrewd Jean-Philippe Mateta, who tricked Konate into an early booking and dragged his fellow countrymen into a tough battle. Liverpool needs to take extra care of Virgil van Dijk, because if he sustains an injury, there will be issues. On the other end, Guehi barely broke a sweat and looked top-notch. Despite Liverpool's star-studded forward line featuring Mohamed Salah and Florian Wirtz, the Reds appeared lackluster, devoid of both energy and chemistry. However, when Guehi was put to the test, his response was exactly what you'd expect. He remained cool and collected. Glasner's indispensable center-back, who typically shies away from the limelight, would have been apprehensive about all the attention surrounding the match. Upon closer inspection, Guehi's performance was akin to a Rolls-Royce. He played a part in the opening goal, completed 19 out of his 21 passes, made 11 defensive contributions, and led Palace to a well-earned victory. Guehi has been instrumental in Palace's record-equaling club-record 18-game unbeaten run, and his display against Liverpool further demonstrated that the Reds made a rare transfer mistake in not securing his signature, a mistake they will undoubtedly rectify this winter. Even at the final whistle, there was an opportunity for a post-match embrace with Van Dijk, but Guehi merely gave the Dutchman a light pat on the back and walked off. He didn't seek praise because, in his view, it was simply a job well done. Liverpool star blamed for Crystal Palace loss after horrendous display, spread like a disease. Liverpool legends Steve Nicol and Michael Owen have both taken aim at Konate following his performance in the Reds' 2-1 loss to Crystal Palace. The France international was given a torrid time in the first half, in particular at Selhurst Park, as his mixed start to the season continued. The centre-back is out of contract at the end of the campaign, with his future at Anfield remaining uncertain as a result. Real Madrid are reportedly one of the sides interested in signing the 26-year-old if he does not sign a new contract at Liverpool. Amid the ongoing transfer speculation, Konate has endured an inconsistent start to the season. While he impressed in victories over the likes of Arsenal and Everton, he has also put in some shaky performances defensively, and this continued in the Reds' loss to Crystal Palace. As he struggled when up against Eagles frontman Jean-Philippe Mateta, Arne Slot's men fell to a 2-1 defeat against Palace, despite Federico Chiesa scoring an 87th-minute equalizer, as Eddie Nketiah struck a 97th-minute winner for the home side as the reigning Premier League champions endured an off day in the capital. Nicol, who won 4 league titles, the European Cup and 3 FA Cups during his own Liverpool career, was not impressed by his old club's performance at Selhurst Park, and taking aim with their defensive display, he insisted that Konate was at the heart of the problem. It would be really harsh to pull one person out, but I think the man that was at the start of it was Konate, he said on ESPN. He had an absolutely, unbelievably horrendous first half. He couldn't pass the ball properly. He kept giving fouls away. He got booked. He's trying to fight Mateta. I know Konate's a big lad, but Mateta's bigger than him, and you've got to use your brains. Unfortunately, today, Konate didn't use any brains whatsoever. So, he kicked it off, and it almost kind of spread like a disease after that. Everybody giving the ball away. And when you give a ball away against Crystal Palace, it is really the thing they do best. They exploit mistakes from the opposition, and then they get at you quickly going forward. Only some poor finishing, particularly from Mateta, is the reason that Liverpool were still in this game at all. The truth of the matter is that all of the things Liverpool didn't do well today are the same things they haven't done well all season. Liverpool's backline just doesn't look composed at all. Yes, you would hope the midfield can stop the opposition getting at the backline as often as it does. But at the end of the day, the back line is there to do the job. And right now, it doesn't look comfortable any time it is asked to defend, whether it is today or the previous games. Liverpool might be sitting top of the league still, but Arne Slot still has a lot of questions that need answering that he hasn't quite found the answer to. Yet Nickel was not the only former Liverpool player to voice their concern at Konate's display, with Owen also taking issue with his performance in the first half. As he pointed out, it was not an isolated below-par performance. I don't know whether it was tiredness, but they rested a fair few players in midweek in the Carabao Cup, he said, as quoted by Sport Bible. They weren't their usual selves. We are early in the season. I'd be hesitant to blame it on tiredness. I mean, Konate in the first half didn't know what he was doing. I can't say that it was because of rustiness or tiredness. We've seen one or two performances like that from him this season that have been quite similar. I wouldn't use that excuse. I would give praise to Crystal Palace. They're a proper team. They've beaten Liverpool in the Community Shield. It wasn't a fluke. I'd be more inclined to say Palace played very well. Elsewhere, former Man City star Micah Richards admitted he is starting to worry about Konate this season. Konate is starting to worry me a little bit, he said on Match of the Day. Him and Van Dijk have been a good partnership, but his individual errors at this moment in time are just making the back line look a bit nervy. You know, Liverpool always look good in defense. Van Dijk always marshals the back line, but they give Palace too many opportunities for no actual reason. It was just being sloppy, and that is so unlike Liverpool. Konate contract talks leave. Liverpool facing uncertain future. Madrid interest grows as contract stalemate continues. William Saliba's new long-term deal at Arsenal may seem far removed from Anfield, but it has significant implications for Liverpool. Real Madrid had monitored the French defender closely, viewing him as a potential solution with his previous contract expiring in 2027. Now tied down until 2030, Saliba is no longer an option, shifting Madrid's focus towards another France international. Ibrahima Konate Liverpool find themselves in an increasingly delicate position regarding their 26-year-old center-back. Contract talks remain unresolved, and there are growing concerns inside the club that one of their defensive pillars could be tempted away. Romano highlights complicated negotiations. Transfer specialist Fabrizio Romano has underlined how challenging the situation has become. Despite multiple proposals from Liverpool's hierarchy, including sporting director Richard Hughes, Konate's representatives have yet to agree terms. According to Romano, discussions that appeared close to a breakthrough late in 2024 stalled, with further attempts during August 2025 yielding little progress. The Italian journalist described the outlook as complicated, stressing that a resolution is not close. Real Madrid are monitoring developments closely, aware of their strong relationship with Konate's agents and their preference for high-profile free transfers. If Liverpool cannot secure an extension before January, the defender will be free to negotiate with clubs outside England. Konate's impact since joining Liverpool. Since arriving from RB Leipzig in 2021 for a reported $35 million, Konate has established himself among Europe's leading center-backs. His partnership with Virgil van Dijk was crucial to Arne Slot's side securing the Premier League title last season, providing both physical dominance and composure in high-pressure fixtures. That pedigree makes the current uncertainty particularly troubling for Liverpool. Losing a player of Konate's caliber on a free transfer would not only weaken the squad but also represent a major financial setback. Madrid remain a realistic destination. Madrid's strategy is well documented. Identify elite players approaching contract expiry and strike at the earliest legal opportunity. With Saliba unavailable, Konate now stands out as one of the most attractive names on their shortlist. Romano emphasized that Madrid will not act before January, respecting transfer regulations. However, if Liverpool fail to secure a breakthrough, Konate will be free to enter talks with the Spanish giants and others. As things stand, there is no indication that the contract impasse will be resolved quickly. Liverpool must either accelerate negotiations or risk losing one of their most important defenders at the peak of his career. Liverpool's Van Dijk demands quick improvement after loss. Liverpool captain. Virgil van Dijk has urged his team to stay calm after their 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace, but admits they will have to improve pretty quickly if they want to succeed this season. The Premier League champions suffered their first defeat of the campaign at Selhurst Park thanks to a late strike from Palace substitute Eddie Nketiah. The result means title rivals Arsenal can close the gap on the league leaders to just 2 points with a victory against Newcastle United on Sunday afternoon. "We're disappointed in our performance," Van Dijk said after the game. "Disappointed in the loss, but especially the way we went about it. I think if we got a draw here, then we took already 1 point too much. That is the feeling that we have right now. I don't think there is any reason to worry. But we have to improve pretty quickly because obviously we play against Galatasaray in the Champions League in Turkey on Tuesday. We have a very difficult game there as well, so we have to be ready." Having become the masters of scoring late goals this season, Liverpool thought they had managed to snatch a precious point against Palace when Federico Chiesa came off the bench to draw his team level in the 87th minute. However, Oliver Glasner's side could have put the game out of sight in the first half alone, with Alisson Becker making a succession of fine saves after Ismaila Sarr had opened the scoring. "It was the basics that we didn't do well," Van Dijk said of his team's first-half display. Sometimes you can have these days. Hopefully this is the only day this season that we do that. There is a reason they were 17, now 18, games unbeaten. They are very difficult to break down, very disciplined. They defend deep, and they don't mind that. And they have the quality on the break to hurt you. But it started all with ourselves. We were sloppy in possession, didn't win our second ball fight, and we created momentum for them. They could have been 3 or 4 up by halftime. We are lucky that we have, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in the world to save us. If we had a draw, we had 1 point too much." The Liverpool defender added, "There are loads of challenges throughout the whole season. Everyone has to deal with it in their own way, but obviously as a team we have to deal with it as well. The biggest challenge now is to stay calm. I mentioned it many times. Never get too high or too low. Just work and don't listen to the outside world too much. You know when you can do better, and today everyone knew that. We have another opportunity on Tuesday in a very interesting stadium, big crowd Champions League, to turn it around again and focus on the next one and next one." Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.